Okay, got it. Yep. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. So welcome to SAGE Live April 2024. My name is Li Junran. I am a senior scientist at the Brookhaven National Lab. I actually got all my education in China. So today I'm going to learn a lot from every one of you. It's really a pleasure to be an MC for this event. Currently, I serve as an international collaboration star experiment co-spokesperson. And this is really just like international. We are doing completely open research, and it's a lot of fun. So that's basically enough about myself. Before we start, let me explain what the SAGE journey is all about and how SAGE Life fits in that journey. So SAGE Journey is a program whose mission is to inspire and encourage students to explore STEM careers for their future. We do this by offering free summer camps, paid internships, and professional growth sessions, and many opportunities to connect with professionals who care about you and your future. And SAGE Life is part of the SAGE Journey, and it is an online gathering of students who have attended a summer camp and are curious about the next steps in their SAGE journey. It's also a time to reconnect with SAGE volunteers. It's held monthly via Zoom between the months of August and May, and the topics covered are relevant to your journey, whether it's a career-related, such as design your life, resume workshop, and how to prepare for interview, or new and exciting topics such as quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. Today, our topic is what I wish I knew when I was in high school. So our moderator is Ishani, who attended the SAGE camp in 2022. And Ishani is currently an 11th grader at Lynbrook High School in San Jose, California. So Ishani, take it away.
Hi everyone, happy Saturday. Hold on, give me a second. I'm so excited to moderate today's panel of fellow SAGE alumni. We have three panelists, Melody, Harumi, and Christine. They're all in college, and their colleges are in three different parts of the country. One is in New York, one is in Texas, and one is in California. I'd like to ask our panelists to introduce themselves. Let's start with Melody.
Okay, sorry. I thought we were going to start with you, Ishani.
Oh, okay. A little bit about me. I'm a junior at Lynbrook High School. I'm the oldest child. I have a younger sister. I'm a founder and president of the Miller Sage X Club. I'm a cheerleader and dancer, and I like Safeway chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake is super good. Hi everyone, I'm Melody. I am currently studying computer science at Pace University in New York, and I last year was also a SAGE intern for the 2023 summer, and then I also did the online virtual camp 2021. So it's been a great journey so far. And some things about me is that I love red. I have two dogs back home in San Jose, so anyone from San Jose, I love you. And then I love running, cooking, and then creating film. And then my favorite dessert is coffee ice cream. And then for work, I do web development. So I started off in marketing, and now I'm doing more the technical side, which has been great so far.
Hello, my name is Harumi. I attended SAGE camp virtually in 2019, so the summer right before my senior year. I grew up in South Florida, Boca Raton, and then I moved out to San Jose, California, 3 years ago. And now last summer I worked as a SAGE intern, and now I work in the same department for TID. So technology innovation department, doing radio frequency research with my mentor. I attend Santa Clara University as a mechanical engineering major. I'm in my second year. And so some other things about me. My favorite color is green. I love to crochet, and you can see like the other stuff about me. I'm not a fan of chocolate cake. Sorry, guys. I am a huge fan of cheesecake, though.
Cheesecake is
So
valid.
thank you, thank you. So I think I redeemed myself there. And then the type of work that I've been doing at Slack because I did my summer internship and then I continued to work during the school year. So currently I'm working with Annika Gabriel, who's my mentor. Um, and I have been analyzing data that she gets from terahertz radiation, which is essentially just electrons that are going really fast. And the end goal is to create an efficient program in Python that will produce strength versus time graphs of the electrons. And then using those, we can get the frequency values for that radiation, which is important for like applications for if you guys know what spectroscopy is, which is just like essentially taking pictures of like really small things.
Hi everyone. So my name is Christine. I'm from New Mexico. I'm currently studying nuclear engineering at Texas A&M, so in College Station, Texas. I'm a junior now, and I was part of the SAGE program in 2021 at Los Alamos, and also like the summer physics camp with Anna in I think like 7 years ago now, and I'm so excited to see all of y'all. Oh, okay. Yeah, very good things to say about A&M, but I hope we get to talk about that more and like about college later on today. But my favorite color, like just quick things, my favorite color is yellow. But I love pastels in general. And I love hiking and learning new words in my free time. My favorite dessert is probably like vanilla ice cream with fresh berries. I'm also not a chocolate person, but I do love coffee ice cream and cheesecake. So very good options. And then I think that some people who inspire me like constantly are just like my fellow STEM peers, especially all those like my female woman in engineering. Like, let's go. We're absolutely amazing. And so what I work on with at Los Alamos is I've been an intern working with nuclear safety and non-proliferation. So I work on the data analysis and working with taking the spectroscopy, like with gamma spec and microcalorimetry data to be able to validate and verify and look at these spectra results. Like you can see on the right hand of the slide there next to the Landell logo. So like taking spectra results and being able to identify radioactive material. So nice to meet everyone.
Nice to meet all of you guys. Let's get started with our first question, which everyone must be wondering. What is one thing you wish you knew in high school?
Am I starting off? Um, for me, I would say in high school, there's so many different options and clubs out there. I just say whatever interests you, even slightly, definitely just go for it, whether it be like a club or a sport. Just because when you're also trying to find which college major potentially, it helps you narrow down on what you like and it help you choose. So that's for me.
Sorry, my internet cut out. Ishani, could you say whatever it is that you just said one more time?
What is something you wish you knew in high school?
Okay. Um, for me, I think it was definitely um I wish I was kinder to myself and believing that everything would actually be okay. Um, because especially like junior, senior year, there's a lot of pressure to get into like your top colleges or to meet like a certain merit. But even if you don't get into your top school, everything will be okay. It's really just like being kind to yourself and realizing that there's only so much that like is in your power and that you know that you're doing your best. Because I feel like I would have been a lot less stressed and a lot less depressed if I had like really internalized that. And I was also really burnt out in high school. So, but now I'm okay. And I'm now in my second year of college. So everything will be okay, is really what I wish I knew in high school.
I would say if I had to choose like one thing I would want to like focus on to tell like my younger self is that there's not like one like perfect path. Like everything will have its own pros and cons. And like the most important thing for you is to just be able to persevere and be optimistic and be grateful and appreciative of the things that you're going through and the things that you're looking forward to. So like Melody said, like find those things that like interest you and keep going with it. And like Hermie said, just like always try to be kind to yourself, like even if you're struggling a little bit more, like always like try to be appreciative of what you do have and like your reasons for wanting to study and keep going forward.
That's really comforting to hear. Thank you. Our next question is, we'll be talking more about high school now. So what are some classes that you would recommend students to take in high school, and how have they helped you?
So I know there's like a big like two-sided thing with the APs, but I think they are a really good way to like dive in and see if you really like something. I took pretty much the basic, AP Lang, whatever, and then also AP Physics 1 and 2. And by the time we got to like the thermophysics and stuff like that, I realized it wasn't exactly for me. And don't worry, like if you find that out like after 2 years of taking something. That's why I also say it's good to just try it. And if you do try it, try your best and use your resources like tutoring and things like that. But then once you realize what you might want to navigate to another direction, totally fine. So definitely try the classes, the AP classes, and if you like it too, of course. But yeah, good luck, guys.
For me, I excuse me. I completely agree with Melody. If you have space in your schedule to do like some extra classes, because AP classes really do teach you how to study at a faster pace. Especially if you're going into a quarter system college. Quarter system is a lot faster than semester system. So exactly what Melody said in the chat, you save money depending on the university if you like pass the AP classes, AP, IB, or ACE classes. I also kind of wish I took more like financial literacy classes in high school because it's not something that anyone really teaches you, at least not in college, unless you take a specific class. And my high school really like highlighted those classes for us. So I wish I had taken those. Yeah, and then just everything else that Melody said to explore and take those opportunities.
So as far as like classes that I would recommend trying to take in high school, also like trying to experience more of the like faster pace and like a lot heavier workload through taking AP classes. So specifically, I'm studying nuclear engineering, so getting the credits for math and for like science classes, that is very beneficial for if you're even interested in engineering or you think you will be, because then you can get a glimpse into what it'll be like. And those credits are really important even for a general education part. So if you can get any of those credits taken care of in high school and like save money and time and make your college workload a lot lighter and a little less stressful, like that'll be really beneficial. Oh, also, I just remembered, like some um, schools have like an engineering class type of program. I personally didn't have that, but some of the people that I've talked to in college have mentioned it, and like that sounds like super great. So if you have that at your high school, or and you think you might be interested in it, definitely like pursue that.
What are
I
some
can
of
also
your, sorry.
no, go
You
for
can,
it. You're good.
no, continue.
I was gonna say because we mentioned AP Calc, but if anyone wants any specific names for classes, I highly recommend it, especially if you're going to engineering, because these are usually the ones that you'll get credit for going into at most STEM fields. So AP Calc, AB, AP Calc, BC, AP Physics, AP Chem, um, and then there's AP Lang. I like was able to skip an English level because I took AP Lang and AP Lit. I unfortunately did not pass my AP Calc exam, so I did not get to skip that. But if you pass it, then with a 3 or higher, then that's usually the general rule for universities where you can transfer that credit in. And then AP Calc, AP Lang. Off the top of my head, those are the most general ones that you can get credit for your first year going into like a STEM degree.
So
Thank you,
speaking
Melody.
of, sorry. So speaking of AP classes, AP tests are coming up. How would you recommend preparing for those?
Okay, I'm gonna start off that you need to do a lot of, well, okay, when it comes to reviewing, what I did was kind of crazy, but I took all my notes, I put it all over my bed, and then I looked at every single chapter and I had one condensed page or two, and I would write down the key points from them. And anything I didn't remember that I missed in my notes, I would then highlight that and then restudy that part specifically. So whatever you don't know off the top of your head, like restudy that. But just make sure it's really organized when you're going through and you have like a skeleton and lots of practice tests. Those are actually more important, especially if you're doing math. Math just takes more practice, not memorization. So you just got to know whether what subject.
For me, studying, I'm a very visual learner, so I needed to like when I was taking my math classes, I also just need to like do a lot of practice tests. Um, yes, you can come up with your own problems, but this is not like this is not me saying that the practice tests are the same as the exam. I am not saying that. However, doing those practice tests do prepare you pretty well to take the exam later on. And it also gets you used to the wording, which I think is the most important part because there are some really strangely worded questions that you might encounter, and then you won't have any surprises really when you get to the exam because there's only so many ways that they can word certain problems.
100% yes to the practice exams. Like, just make sure that you are able to like work out the problems. Make sure that you're good with time managing and like not procrastinating. Like, try to do it a little bit at a time. And like Melody said too, like emphasize the parts that you don't understand the first time you're going through it, or from the material that you didn't understand from a practice test, and make sure that you go over it until you do understand it. And like you're able to do well on the next practice exam you do.
Wait, I'll also add, in terms of time management, because thank you, Loy, for reminding me. Um, Having a to-do list every single day is something that I kind of do. So when I'll have like a regular calendar and I'll put out everything like a big outline. And then every day I'll have one specific to-do list that's super detailed on what class and assignment needs to be done. And I'll try to make it realistic. That way when I'm done, I check it off, it feels good, and I just keep going like that. I'd say like limit to like 4 or 5 items a day. That way you can stay on task and you get a little bit of everything done. And also switch over to subjects too. So you don't want to burn out by doing like 5 hours on just your AP homework or AP Lit homework. You want to do like 1 or 2 hours of each. But yeah, thank you, Lloyd, for reminding me.
Speaking of time management, what are your recommendations for balancing your extracurriculars with AP or regular classes?
So I did track and cross country and then also wrestling. So like there's a lot of in between time. So I'd like bike home from class, take a power nap, do some homework, get food, come back, and then you just want to plan out your day. That way you have like some breathing time and then also a designated like after dinner 2 hours to sit down and do homework. Or if you're in class and there's extra time and your teacher's just talking about like Taylor Swift, you can knock out your chem homework. They just assigned it. But that's something that I did that helped a lot.
Yeah, I had a very similar strategy that Melody did in high school. I was doing a lot and also working part-time. So in between classes was really when I was doing a lot of my homework. Um, During lunchtime, yes, I was a hustler. Um, During lunchtimes, I would turn off my phone and just like fall off the face of the earth because that was the only time that I had to do homework. So like my friends would be like, "Oh, where were you during lunch?" I was like, doing homework, and I wouldn't tell them where I was, or else they'd come find me. And I love to yap, so I really needed to focus. So I would just turn off my phone. Yeah. One other thing that really helped me is because I have a really hard, I have this thing called the time void where I'll start doing something and then I'll start doing something else and then I'll forget what time is. So Google Calendar was really helpful for me over the last like once since I discovered it like 2 years ago. And I just like plan out my day, plan out my study time. This is gonna sound really bad, but every single minute of every single day is planned, even like my breaks, which is really important. As Melody said, breaks are really important, especially even if you're just switching subjects. But yeah, those are my tips and tricks.
I would also really emphasize like having a plan and like goals that you want to do. I think like in high school, I really like tried to kind of like balance each class and like the assignments that I wanted to accomplish like for that day. And I would always try to practice like studying ahead for exams because like I'm like really bad with like I'm not able to like study right before something if I want to do well. So I was always like try to be on top of studying earlier than like some of my peers and stuff. I think I would also uh, emphasize what Melody said in the chat about like tutoring hours. So if your school also has what we called academic time, but it's like at the end of the day, about like half an hour where you can go talk to a teacher. I would definitely like utilize any of those opportunities, or even if that's not like a scheduled time, like try to email a professor, and like even with that, you can always like say that you've tried. So that's always a good strategy.
I'll add on really quick. Even in college, if your college does like have it like free tutoring, go to that too. Also, if there's any college students here, always if it's student to student teaching, it sometimes it helps more. And I'm telling you, like the Python department, they're sick of seeing me. I'm like there every other day, but it helps a lot. It helps a lot.
Building off of what Melody said, even if like the scheduling for both high school and college, if the schedule, like if there's a particular time that you want to meet with with like a student or a teacher or professor, and you can't because you have some other like conflict, definitely reach out to that person that is helping you or that you would like help from, because more often than not, they will be more than happy to make time or find a time that works for you, um because you don't want to just be confused and then have more information building off of that, but you're still confused on this like one part, because it only gets harder or it gets more challenging, but it will make it a lot more hard. It will make it harder for yourself when you're studying if you are stuck on what this fundamental in the beginning.
Yeah, I would really emphasize that. I just want to add like a personal note, like from my experience in high school, like I know that it can sometimes, or also in college, but like sometimes it can seem intimidating to kind of like reach out or like it for some reason it feels like you're asking for too much. But like always know that if a professor, like if they say no, they can't meet at a certain time, like that's okay. Like but like more often than not, like truly, like they are super invested and passionate and want to help you succeed. And as long as like you take that opportunity, like make sure that you're able to like ask for help. And also like I don't use Google Calendar, but I am like an absolute menace with my phone alarms. They like always go off. So like that's how I kind of like keep track of myself. So yeah.
Maybe I just echo from a scientist point of view, reaching out is really, really important. As all the panelists said, the teachers, professors, scientists, they really care about you. And just, you know, even though the time doesn't work out, they will always reschedule an appointment for you. So I think reaching out is really important.
Thank you for that great advice. I will try that with my teachers. Um, we got some questions from not the panelists, from the audience. And one question that was asked is, what kind of summer experiences do you wish you had during your high school years to prepare you for college?
Let me just make sure for me, I wish that I had talked to more, like reached out to more people in my college, if that makes sense. Because I didn't really, I'm a first generation student, so I didn't really know what to expect. Like I did attend a lot of SAGE live events. I did attend like some college prep workshops that that my high school had hosted, but there was not really that personal touch of like, oh, you want to choose this dorm room because of X, Y, and Z, or you want to pick a roommate that like kind of fits your lifestyle. So a lot of those like insider things that you would usually get from like a parent or someone else that has been to college, I really missed out on, and I think would have helped me adjust a lot faster um, in college had I reached out to um, more people after I knew which college I was going to. Because like my university, they kind of like post. Um, I think most universities do this for like incoming freshmen. They not only hold like workshops, but they also like post like socials and like different like people that you can reach out to. So I really wish I had done that. So I highly recommend you guys do that. And then in terms of other preparatory things I wish I'd done in high school, um, I I guess just like applying to more scholarships. Um, when I had time. I think that was really the two most impactful things for me.
I think I would have wanted to prioritize like the time I had during summer to continue like taking classes where I could at the community college, like for the reasons we talked about earlier, with just like getting those credits that you can, so you can take more classes in the high school aspect. I also I started working during the year as an intern for my school, like for about like it was like a program, so it involved about 5 different teachers. So like for English, for science, for statistics, history, and just like helping the teachers with grading for all of those different classes. And I had such a positive experience, and especially like just seeing the other side, and also like knowing the experience as a student who took those classes. So that was something that I really appreciated, and um, was a really good benefit, along with my internship experience over the summer. So I would recommend like taking classes and like any job experience that you're interested in, like definitely pursue that.
I'd say those are all really good advice. The community college classes, and then also any research that you want to do on the side. But also, I mean, I didn't do it while I was in high school, but when I graduated that one summer, I just worked like a casual job at like Chipotle. But I think any job experience in general, it doesn't have to be like a grand internship right off the bat. You learn a lot of like people skills and professional skills that you wouldn't learn if you just sat around all summer. So that's like something I would, recommend. Like maybe if you want to try it, that's like a great way to just get yourself out there and practice on like your hard skills. So yeah.
I do have something to add to that. My first job was not in it at all. I worked for a tea store. But like Melody said, that was my foot in the door because a lot of people in like especially like your first year, they don't have a lot of you probably talk to people that it seems like they have all their stuff together, but I promise you that if you have any experience at all, that you can spin that so that you can in the future get other opportunities because it's an experience that's under your belt. And it's like Melody said, you're working on those soft skills. Yeah.
Okay. Another question we had gotten was, what is something you wish your high school taught you, and how have you learned this? Like it can apply to jobs or like social skills, leadership skills, etc.
I think like something that I wish I was better at, like even now actually, is like financial management. So like that's something that you kind of just have to learn as you are in charge of yourself. And for me, that was a lot more once I got into college right now. So more so about like knowledge about like how like credit cards work, and like how to really like keep track and be on top of your management. Because like once I got to college, like I got a lot more aware of just like how much groceries cost, and like it's really true about how much you want to like minimize spending as much as possible, like to the point where there's a lot of people who just like sustain themselves on energy drinks.
Are you
Um,
speaking from personal experience?
partially.
I think I kind of touched on this earlier. Um, I really wish that there was like more financial literacy because like I'm figuring it I just got my first credit card and like I I'm still figuring it out. I don't really use it because I'm more scared of it because I don't know what it does really. Um, but well, I know what it does now, but when I first got it, I didn't know, and so but it is helpful. Like I swear, the credits later on once you need like your credit score to like get a car or to like get a loan or the other things that adults need credit scores for. I don't really need to think about it right now. I just know I have it. Um, and then something else that I wish that my high school taught, um, I really wish they taught like different methods of learning because I feel like my high school really emphasized memorization. Or like not the high school itself, but like because of the pace of learning and the way that stuff was taught, I feel like the only real way for you to like get by was through memorization. Um, and I'm still like learning how to learn in college, and the learning curve has been steep, but I feel like I am actually internalizing the information that I am getting in lectures.
Yeah, those are good ones too. I guess to add on, well, not to add on to those, but two different things I would say is I think speaker panels kind of like this would be actually really nice. Because I know at least for my college we do a lot of like speaker networking events. Maybe it's just like a adulting thing, but just having to hear like Lori, um what actual professionals are actually doing, it gives you more insight than learning just like the book material because you need both. And if I had both, that would be nice. And then the second thing, I wish that someone told us to prepare for college apps sooner. If you're, let's say, in your junior year, I'd say, and it's about to be summer. Um, get started on it now. You know, you don't wait till senior year. You're gonna be so busy. Get it done now, at least the rough draft of it, and have people give you feedback. Yeah, those two things.
May I mention something about credit cards? Because you really need your parent to empower you with that if you're under 18. And so my older son didn't have a credit card in college because I like, no debt, no debt. And then when he graduated, he couldn't rent a car because he had no credit established, like Harumi said. So he said, Mom, you need to get younger brother a credit card before he gets off to college. And so, yeah, lesson learned.
Just to like reiterate what Harumi said about like really trying to study differently from the root memorization that like high school classes just like force you to do. Um, like I just want to point out, like once you get into college, you're kind of like pursuing like very specific topics of interest. So you need to be like, it's really important to be well versed and understand the material because this is what you're supposed to be interested in and like passionate about. And like hopefully that'll help. But like once you get into college, it'll be a lot different, especially like once you like finish taking any of the general courses you have and you like move along further into your degree, like there is a much greater emphasis that's placed on like really understanding and like Harumi said, like it'll be a whole process of continuing to like further develop and advance like your learning system and that's just like based on personal experience because it'll be different for everyone and there will be ups and downs as you kind of like try to figure out what works best for you and for which classes and everything.
One last thing, sorry, Shani, to cut you
It's
off,
okay.
but it's kind of going off what Christine said. In college, you may think that that one equation that you saw on the chalkboard or on the whiteboard isn't going to come back. But you will be wrong because that equation is probably going to come back 4 or 5 times. And then not only that, but it is going to be referenced in the next class and in the next class. And if you are not strong in a particular topic, you are not going to have a fun time. So it's really important to get those fundamentals, really understand what it is that you're learning, because like Christine said, it is what you're studying. It is supposedly what you are um, interested in and interested in getting a degree in. So it's not like high school where it's like, oh, you take this one class and then you take this other class that's kind of completely different. No, like each in college, it's like you take physics 1, then you take physics 2, or you take math 1, 2, 3, and then each of those things build up into more specific topics, but they do build onto each other. So it is really, I know everyone learns differently, and I won't go too much into it right now, but if for me, like I had to try a bunch of different learning techniques before I found the right one that works for me.
Wow, that was like really good advice from all three of you. Thank you so much. I will definitely use that. Um, our last question for high school life is what is something that you regret not doing during high school?
I can start off with this one. I'd say like the classes for a language, if you can take like a class that you know will be accepted as credits, like Spanish, I wish I took. Learning a language in college is a lot of work and it's a lot of time that you don't really have. So I took ASL, no offense, but it didn't transfer over, so that was sad. And I actually don't really use it that much. And then also if you can get ahead on math is like the number one class that I would recommend taking.
Sorry, give me a second. My brain is still processing.
I'm also like trying to think about it. I have something that I regret during high school. So I'll just like start with that for right now. But I like really wish that I had been like I'd learned to be more appreciative for the skills that I do have. Because honestly, like during like junior year and senior year especially, I just got into like a really like low place where I was constantly like comparing myself to others and like my different struggles. And so it was really like difficult a lot of times to be so anxious about the future and all the uncertainty associated with it. And so I really wish that I'd been more encouraging and like supportive of myself and taken things a little bit more lighthearted and like found joy in that time before I went to college.
I think for me, I regret not pursuing more of like the little things that made me happy. Um, like I was very focused on like um what would potentially like propel me in like or what I thought would propel me forward in college. That like I feel that I missed out on a lot of like those like Lois said self-care and like those just like Christine said those like lighthearted moments that probably would have made my high school experience a lot more fun. Um and like you can still be very well prepared for college while also having fun. Which is like the greatest thing. Specifically, I wish I had joined breakdance club because I do love to dance, but I went once and then I did not go anywhere because I had to go to robotics club. I convinced myself that I had to go. Um, but yeah, so it's definitely worth it because because that's still something that's going on your resume. I forgot whatever it is that you're sending to colleges. That's still something that you're sending to colleges, and if you can speak about that thing that you're passionate about, even if it's not like in your field or what you want to study, um it's still something that like is going to be beneficial for you, and you're going to be happier too, which is a huge plus.
Okay, now we will be moving on to some questions regarding college. Most of us are in high school right now, and a big question was, what are some things you wish you knew before coming to college?
I think I would really like focus on the application process. Like it's different for every single college, and so it will take like a lot more time than you may initially think. Also, um, make sure you're on top of choosing people that you would want to ask for letters of recommendation. Like, make sure you have like good relations with someone who can like really speak to your character and who sees you not just like as another student and can like really communicate that to colleges. Another thing is don't let the college decisions like define you. Like you're not just what is written on your resume. And just like always remember that there's not like one perfect outcome and there will be pros and cons to like every single different choice. Like you could be closer or farther away from home, like at a more reputable uh, college or like in terms of like being well known or also like a bigger large school versus like having a small school where you're all like really well really close to each other. Like there will be like a lot of different um outcomes for everything, so just like be okay with whatever happens. Like just keep trying to pursue what all your options really.
That's a great point that I'll actually tag on. Wherever you are is like whatever you make the most of it is what your outcome will be. Like if you're in high school and you try all these different clubs, that's actually a really good way to get to know the advisor too, and then they'll see like from a different perspective. And also, when you're applying, they don't really care too much about like what you're doing, but like what you learn from it. And also like be very quantitative in it. So that way it's like the more specific you are, the easier it is to understand. Don't be vague. Yeah. So even in college, like do different clubs and stuff like that, because it doesn't matter where you go, even if you go to community college. Most of my friends who are sophomores in college are now getting transfer to UCs and things like that, and they're doing amazing. Like if you're doing the community college route, I applaud you too because that's like a great way too. But just make the best of what you have, and you'll do amazing either way.
Yeah, also kind of tagging along what Melody said. Um, like community college or like if you do some other like alternative that isn't necessarily college, like you can still be successful, whatever that means for you. But usually, at least in most terms, I think successful means like whether you're happy and whether you have a job. Um, and like you can still have those things, even if you're not following like the I went to an Ivy League school. Um, and then in my own, yes, at least in my definition, happiness is like Melody just put in the chat. But something else that I wish I knew before going to college, I kind of touched on this earlier, but the quarter system and the semester system, because the quarter system is so fast. It's 10 weeks, and you're taking um, classes all throughout those 10 weeks, and you have a finals week, so technically 11 weeks. Um, and then you take a break, and then you do it again and again for all 4 years. Versus like semester, it's a lot more spread out. For comparison, I like my semester friends, they take a midterm, I think, so there's 2 semesters. So they'll take like a midterm halfway through and then they'll take their final. Versus like quarter system, It is currently week 4, and I've taken 2 midterms, and I have 2 more midterms coming, and then I have my second wave of midterms, and then finals. So it's a lot more fast-paced, which doesn't seem important now, but if you're someone that doesn't like that fast-paced environment, it is something that you want to consider when you're looking at colleges, because that's where you're going to be learning for the next 4 years. So you definitely want to consider that. Another thing that I didn't consider was the size of the school. Because like at a UC or another larger institution, there are going to be potentially like 400, 500 students in a lecture hall, which then translates into how much help you can get from your professor or your TAs, because they are not only catering to you, but they're trying to help all these other students. And a lot of my friends that go to these like bigger universities, they are consistently complaining that their professors don't have time in office hours to get to all the questions. Whereas like I go to a smaller school, like there's up to like 30 students in a class. So office hours are a lot smaller, a lot more like a lot more intimate. Like there you meet everyone in your class. Um, so that is definitely something you want to consider. But also if you don't like a smaller school, then it might not be for you, because it is, you know, everyone. This as time goes on, my school keeps getting smaller and smaller because I meet more and more people. So that is also another thing for you to consider.
Okay, so I got a question from a freshman. Hold on, I lost the question. Give me a second.
While Ishani is looking for that, I've been reading at the chat. So everyone, please feel free to type in a burning question that you have, maybe triggered by something that someone said. We did receive everybody's questions ahead of time, and we might not be able to cover everything, but feel free to type it in the chat.
Okay, I found the question. I'm in freshman year of my high school, and I want to go into computer science. What courses do you recommend that I take, and any courses outside of school?
I guess since I recently switched to CS, I was originally doing marketing actually and analytics. But I think there's a lot of like intro to Python. Python's a good one to start with. SQL is like the oldest language. There's also Excel's fun. But yeah, I would maybe try Python. And if your school is one of the ones that offers like a computer science course or a class, maybe take that. That would probably be super helpful. But yeah, I think there's also free training for Python somewhere.
I know that there's Excel courses like through LinkedIn, because like I've had to like use that, and it's like been really helpful. Like Excel has so many more capabilities than I knew before. And just like from using it for just assignments. So I really would recommend like looking at LinkedIn, and like Python is definitely like such an important class. Like uh coding in any aspect is always growing, so it'll be really helpful for um, most people, especially if you're like considering STEM. So definitely recommend that. For extracurriculars, at the moment, I think I would recommend if you're at all interested in a sport, like that's a great way to like stay active and like take care of yourself, and also um like continue to like push yourself and like learn more about like your capabilities. Like that's something that I've taken away from like the academics that I've done in the past, and it's like really helped me to continue staying healthy in college.
There we go. Okay. So I I feel like there's no specific answer that any of us could give for specifically what extracurriculars you should take. What you should really be focusing on is if you're passionate about it and if you're like both Christine and Melody said, if you're learning something from it. Because if you're just doing something to put it on your resume or like just have it be like a placeholder, colleges will pick up on that. And it's very obvious when you're comparing a paragraph from someone that is clearly passionate, is clearly learning about something that they're doing versus someone that's just kind of like, yeah, I did this thing. Like I went to some conference and I saw these people versus someone that might be like, I love these particular aspects of um, dance. And even though like if they're applying for like a STEM major, like that passion and like what they're learning in that activity will translate into their career and whatever it is that they're doing. Um, and then to speak to I think Melina's comment about asking how important extracurriculars are, something that you need to consider is that everyone is studying. Everyone is taking classes. So extracurriculars are like your spice in your application. Um, so in my opinion, I feel that extracurriculars are really important, but I think that it is also just as important what extracurriculars you choose to commit your time to. Um, because again, really emphasizing this, do not do something that you are not passionate about. It does not matter if it is like not connected to like your like direct it doesn't really matter if it's directly correlated to your like field of study. What matters is that you are happy and that you are passionate about it. Um, because from there you can easily um write an essay being like explaining why that was important and how that is going to help you moving forward.
Really quick to add on to that, like if you're gonna do extracurriculars like a sport or a club, like choose wisely. And also if you end up being in a club that you don't like, it's okay to drop it. And then if you are in an extracurricular, I say strive for like the highest position you can because not only will you be leading people, you'll learn like more insight. Because if you're just a general member, you're not gonna get what's going on behind it, like what needs to be planned. And then I also do like a business analytics club on campus for me, and like I'm the one that has to plan the like workshops for teaching code instead of just learning it. So you learn a lot more that way. But definitely go for one of the positions that will help you out.
Yeah, I also just like want to say like that's a great point about like really focusing on what you're passionate about, whether that's like community service or and like with that, like make sure you're not just like the type of person who signs up for that organization because like it looks good on paper. Like I personally was part of Key Club and I absolutely loved it and I made sure to like because of that I did pursue a leadership opportunity and I would say that I did well and continued that for like 2 years when I was in um, high school. But just like also make sure to like firstly focus on what you're passionate about and don't spread yourself too thin by just like trying to like take a lot of curriculars to where it could first of all like hurt your academics and also just like make you unhappy if you're just trying to do things that you think will look good for your resume.
Kind of building off what Christine said, I and what Melody said, I was only a part of um, two clubs in high school. Or well, after I transferred high schools, I was only a part of two clubs, which was drama. Um, so I was a theater kid. Shout out to all the theater kids out there. And I was also a part of the robotics club because that is something that I'm passionate about. And it just so happens to like align with what I would like to pursue. Um, so I was the treasurer, and then um I was treasurer for theater club, and then I was operations manager for robotics club, and that was my whole life. It was what I spent my time with. It was what made me happy. But I love theater. It was amazing. Like even though it's not technically correlated to STEM, I learned a lot from that experience, and it was something that I was passionate about, and it was something that I wrote about in my oh my gosh, in my applications. Um, and I think someone asked like if you drop a club. I actually did drop. I dropped a club and I dropped a class. Um, I did not list that club on my college application just because I had other things that I wanted to talk about. Um, in the section that lets you explain, like if are there any what is it, like circumstances that were not considered in your application. I did drop a class after transferring, and so there I explained like what was going on and like why I did what I did. But the reason that I say if you drop a club, you shouldn't list it on your college application is because there's probably you definitely have a word limit and like a character or some form of limit. You don't want to be taking up space with things that aren't really important to you or that what um aren't going to reflect who you are as a person.
Speaking about extracurriculars, what strategies did you use to most effectively balance STEM coursework and extracurriculars with social life and personal time in high school?
Ishani, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, that was loaded.
Sorry, can you guys hear me? Okay. What strategies did you find most effective for balancing coursework with extracurriculars, social life, and personal time in high school?
High school, I wasn't introduced to Google Calendar yet, but like Harami said, it's fire. It's really good, and you can color code everything. But I had a physical calendar too, and just make sure you mark all the important dates, and then again, use your to-do list. If you have a Google Doc, you can also have everything planned out nice and neat. But it just depends on you. Also, if you're like physically writing things or having it, online.
I also didn't find out about Google Calendar until after high school. But I did have a physical planner that I would carry around with me. I also had like a set of like very colorful pens that I would also carry around with me. So it was like this like very thick planner, and then like my little set of colorful pens lived in my backpack, came everywhere with me. Um, and that's how I kind of manage my time. It is like Melody said, like it really just depends on what you prefer. But now, um, I like use Google Calendar as well as like Google Tasks so that I can like break down what I need to do in a day. And it's really nice because it connects to my Google Calendar, so I can like choose the times that I'm doing certain tasks. And then it shows me like when I finish it and it crosses it out. Very satisfying. Um, yeah, those are really my go-tos.
I would echo like using a physical planner. Like that's still like what I prefer. I just like spend so much time. I feel like I spend so much time on the computer with classes already, so I just like having it in front of me and being able to like erase it and stuff. And definitely like using sticky notes is what I do. Like right now on my computer, I have like a list of like my final exam schedules coming up on my right, and then a like to-do list for things I want to do today. And I still have like a bunch of sticky notes that I don't know if they still do this, but like my teachers would always be like, "Oh, you need all these like school materials for the class," and we wouldn't end up using all of them. So I literally have sticky notes that I've had since high school.
Maybe I can just add one point or echo what has been said. I think don't burn yourself. You need a time to sleep. You need time to, be around your friends, be happy. I think that's a super, super important, even later on when you join the society to work. You really need a time to relax, and that's very, very important.
Yes, I agree. Eat yummy food. I will definitely miss my parents cooking. Um, One more question. What are some different extracurriculars that colleges like to see? Like, for example, doing research projects or creating small businesses. Which one is more beneficial?
I think like both of those options are pretty like if you're able to have that opportunity, like that's absolutely amazing. But I know from like what I experienced in high school, like definitely don't beat yourself up if you're not like if you get rejections from that. Like make sure that you just like continue to pursue like whatever avenues you can for what you're passionate about, and like kind of just make sure to reach out and like please talk to your teachers and the people here at Sage. Like they all care and want to like support and help you succeed. And so like make sure that you like continue to like seek out any different avenues, and it'll work itself out in that way. Like you just need to make sure that you do your part and always keep trying and try to stay positive, even even though it can be like really hard to do that at some points.
For the award question in the chat, usually like a higher position or like a award does kind of stand out, but I think what really matters when it comes down to the application is like, what did you actually learn? And like, are you impacting people around you, or are you just, did you win an award? But if you're winning an award for a scholarship, yeah, go for that scholarship. Like, that's the best. That's the best kind of award you can win.
Yeah, I just briefly responded. Like, I agree with Melody. Like once you're like going more, I feel like awards are really more for like it it's kind of like a nice to have. Like it's as long as it's exactly like Melody said, like as long as you're learning, as long as you have like some representation of like um I wasn't just like going through the motions, um, then that is what is going to appeal to colleges. Um, like if you get an award while doing that, like yeah, put it on there. Like pop off. Um, but like it's not like an end all be all, if that makes sense.
Did you guys ever have a misconception about college when you were in high school, and how has your perspective changed since?
I will take that one on. I sorry guys. I had a thought as I was reading that question. Um, I did. I had a lot of misconceptions. I think the biggest one was like that everyone was like judging me, or like they like really were invested in what I was doing. But like that very much is not true. Like everyone in college is so busy and trying not only to like figure out what is going on in their class, but also figure out like who they are as a person. Because college really is that time of like you are figuring out who you are as a person outside of your parents, because it's the first, at least for most people, it's the first time that they are been like truly independent. Um, and that has been like earth shattering for me, or world shattering for me. Um, and I think the other thing was like that I was going into like this alone, or like going into like college alone, but there's so many other freshmen that have no idea what's going on. Um, and so like you're not alone, and there's so many resources. And um another misconception was like I thought that people wouldn't want to talk to me, or like wouldn't want to like be friends, but I'm very extroverted. And I've heard from a lot of like my more introverted friends, like if you had not come to talk to me, like I would have just like kept to myself because I was so nervous. So just go out there. People want to meet people, especially in college. Um, yeah, that was really my main takeaways.
I'm so glad that you started off for me because like that made me think about like the imposter syndrome that I had. Like definitely yeah. So like when you're going through like high school and like applying and like getting all those rejections and just like constantly like comparing yourself to others, like it can be like really, really hard. And like once you get into college, it gets a little bit better once you like finally get into that groove of like taking the classes that you're interested in, and like it's a deep like breath of relief when you're like, okay, this is why I've been struggling and I've made it this far, and it's gonna be so beautiful, and I'm excited for all of you to get there. I think another thing is that in high school I always thought that um like college like even before high school actually was like college was always like the grand like ultimate goal, if that makes sense. And like everything leads up to that. And it like builds off of trying to make everything you do good for like your college applications and stuff. And so it kind of seemed like once you do get into college, like it's such a big outcome and it'll affect your life in a very drastic way. And I think I didn't understand a lot more about the nuances and of having different outcomes and the pros and cons of like every single thing. Uh, and it's okay to get to college and like not know everything about your life. Like that's going to be how it is. Like you're just trying to take it day by day and like figure out more about yourself and definitely like make a good group of friends. Like throw yourself out there. Like I myself am a lot more introverted. So like personally, I like try to start with one-on-one interactions. So like if I see someone who's like also by themselves, like that's something that like I can definitely go up and like start to make friends that way. And that's how it's been in college. And so those are the takeaways I would say.
Yeah, that's great. I will say something. I remember what my sister used to say. It's like, don't try to find the place that you belong in, like build the place that you belong in. And then the same that way that Christina said, like, or Christine, right? Yeah. where you just meet people one-on-one, you can become friends with them and then introduce your friends together, and you basically build the people and the energy that you want to be around with. And um if don't waste your time and your energy on people, you know, that you feel like you don't belong with. Same with any class and things like that. Yeah. And if you're having a career crisis with like your majors and stuff, don't worry. Like everything will work out. Everything you try will kind of steer you in a different way, but for a good reason. And same with people. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of building off of what Melody said. Like I think something that another thing that like really was like cemented in me going into college was like once you're there, you're there. Like you can't leave, you can't do other things, like you can't really explore. But if that's actually the whole point of college is to explore. And like Melody said, like build this like Melody and Lois and Christine said, like building this place that you want to be. Um, because you are in control of everything for yourself in college. Even if it doesn't feel that way, even if your advisor is telling you that it's not that way, I promise you, it is, you are allowed to make those decisions that make you happy. Um, and nothing is set in stone. Like it, you can do what you can do. You have the freedom to do and to explore, which I think has was a huge relief for me, especially coming in because I actually came in undeclared engineering. Um, and then I switched to bio engineering, and then I switched to mechanical engineering, and now I'm doing a physics internship. So I've been a little all over the place, kind of still in the same field, but now I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, but that's okay because I'm still learning and I'm still having fun while doing it. And knowing that like I like reassuring myself that it will be okay and that I'll end up wherever I'll like where I'm supposed to be while doing the things that are making me happy, like I think was the biggest thing that changed for me in college. So
Okay, awesome. I think I have a last question. You guys did a fantastic job. It's really great. So last question I have on this will be, how can we get a research position with a professor at a lab, especially if we don't have any relevant experience? Any of you would like to have a try or not yet?
So my personal experience was actually like through SAGE. So when I first applied to internships, like after senior year, like with that, I was trying to get a summer internship. Yes, let's go get SAGE. I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And so like what happened was when you apply, it really just like goes out into a void. And what I've learned from like my personal experience and also like from my peers who are applying for internships now in college too, is like you really need someone to be able to vouch for you. Like that speaks volumes, like a professor. And for me, that was Anna, who led the summer physics camp that I took freshman year in high school. Like that carried over, and she was able to find someone who would like support me and my interest, and like that's the reason that I fell in love with like nuclear safety and safeguards. Like I didn't even know that was a thing before my internship, and like that's exactly what prompted me to now pursue nuclear engineering. So I'm like so grateful like for that opportunity, and it really just was like an absolute blessing because I was like pulled out of the void of just no responses and like rejections, like from job applications.
I can Sorry, Melody. Yeah, so in high school, if you're looking for a research position, um, I would say like if you know people that already are in labs, like Christine said, you really want to um for lack of a better term, you really want to milk those connections. You because but also like Christine said, you need someone to vouch for you. Um, or you don't need someone to vouch for you, but it definitely makes it a lot easier if you have someone to vouch for you. Um, I would also say that like even if you don't get a research position, any type of work experience will help you later on. And you're also making money. So it's still like it's still beneficial for you. While also building like soft skills, like especially like people skills, those are really important. Um, Another great way to get research positions is to like talk to other SAGE leaders because a lot of them are scientists. Um, Even like those of you like sitting right here, you're already like so far ahead of like of so many other high schoolers because you are thinking about these things. Um, And so, like, if any of like the researchers or any of like the heads that you've seen at SAGE events are doing things that you are interested in, definitely reach out to them. Like, even if like it's kind of scary, um, and sending an email, like they're more likely to like help you find a place that like to answer either your questions or find opportunities than they are to just like be like flat out, no, I'm not helping you. And that's literally the worst. Okay, over email, that is literally the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is that they don't respond or they say no. Just saying, you have nothing to lose. Um, and since I'll answer the question in the chat after Melody addresses this one.
Yeah, I'll just add on really quick. Even like in a workplace, make sure you're reaching out and asking for questions and for help because no one's gonna come and save you in the future. No one's gonna come and get you. You have to be, and also if you're reaching out for advice or help, be super specific because the easier it is you make it for them to answer instead of them doing all the research, have all the details out ready, so it's really easy for them to help you. So be very specific and don't be afraid. Everything will be okay.
I just like really want to reiterate on the point of like reaching out for help because like as all three of us have like collectively agreed like it's so important. Like one analogy that I just like remembered is like if you yourself were in the position of looking at applications and like you have like two different um like resumes and they're both like good on paper, like on par, but like for one of them you have the validation from like someone you trust and whose opinion you know to hold true, and they can vouch for one intern, like you're gonna go ahead and go with that intern. So like that's kind of like a good way to think about it. And just like keeping those connections is like really important. So like continue like reaching out like a lot more. Like it's scary, but it's a lot better than just like not hearing back at all. And just like make sure that you keep on building skills with whatever experience you have.
Okay, I think that would be the last question. We are at 3:02 p.m. at New York. I think it's wonderful. Ishoni, Hirumi, Christine, and Melody, you guys really done a wonderful job. It's the answer so insightful. I also learned a lot from all of you. So this is really, really, really great. And to all our high school students, I would say really embrace yourself. And that's very, very important. Have a positive view of what you are doing and focus and put, your minds into it, work hard, but at the same time, play hard. You need time to relax, be around your friends and, eat yummy food, all of this kind of thing, right? It's super, super important. So I think then that's it for today's Sage Live. And also thanks to everyone out here and thanks for coming. And please remember, follow us on social media at Sage Camp. And Sage Live is one Saturday a month. And our next event will be on Saturday, May 18th, about environmental and climate science. So stay tuned for the invite. Thank you. Thank you all.